diminished self-concept and security, behavioral problems, poor academic performance, delinquency and youth crime, promiscuity and teen pregnancy, drug and alcohol abuse, homelessness, exploitation and abuse, physical health problems, mental health disorders. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And what do all these things have in common? They are the result of when a child grows up without a father. When a father is absent in the life of his children, it leads to diminished self-concept and security. And the child feels abandoned, unloved, and they struggle with their emotions. It leads to behavioral problems. Fatherless children have more difficulties with social adjustment and are more likely to report problems with friendship, right? Many develop an intimidating persona to hide their underlying fears. And what you see is that a lot of the bullies in school, a lot of them is because they're growing up without their fathers. And so they are hiding that pain under this intimidating persona. The child ends up performing poor academically in school. Fatherless children struggle academically, scoring poorly on reading, mathematics, thinking skills tests. They are more likely to skip school and be excluded, right? Leaving early and less likely to attain academic and professional qualifications in adulthood. It leads to delinquency and youth crime. Stats show that 85% of imprisoned youth have an absent father. 85%, that's staggering, of imprisoned youth have an absent father. So there's a direct correlation between an absent father and the likelihood of a child going into the direction of crime, because they're going to seek that leadership elsewhere if they don't find it in their father. So they're going to find it in a gang, and they're going to find it in illegal and criminal activities. And it also leads to promiscuity and teen pregnancies. Fatherless children are more likely to experience problems with sexual health issues, including a greater likelihood of having intercourse before the age of 16. Foregoing contraception during their first intercourse, which is going to expose them to more sexually transmitted illnesses, becoming teen parents, and I just mentioned that, contracting sexually transmitted infections. Girls manifest an object hunger for male attention and feeling the emotional absence of their fathers as a personal rejection, and therefore become vulnerable to exploitation by adult men. So when a girl or a young woman or a female child lacks the presence of a father in her life, she's more likely to go seek that attention and validation from other men that will ultimately take advantage of her, leading to a higher chance of teen pregnancy. So you can see that the impact of not having a father around can be absolutely devastating. And as men, I'm challenging us through this channel, men and fathers more specifically, to not just be present, physically present in our families, in the lives of our children, but to be actively and intentionally involved in them being raised, so that we help develop and raise their self-confidence and self-concept of themselves, so that they do not end up victims of crime and being exploited sexually, so that they don't end up performing poorly academically, so that they don't end up feeling unloved and unwanted and abandoned and then turn into bullies. We need to be actively involved. We need to let our kids know that they are loved, that they are supported, and that daddy has your back. Daddy's going to be there for you no matter what you're going through. Okay? That's my challenge, and this is what I'm trying to do. This is the work I'm trying to do through this channel, because we owe it to our kids. These kids didn't ask to be born, and a lot of us as adults who didn't necessarily have an actively involved father in our lives, we are still suffering some of those consequences. And some of those consequences are the things listed here. Some of us, for myself as well, when I went through a period of my development where my father wasn't around, physically around, it was in a different country, and so essentially I was growing up in a single parent home, I ended up with bad friends, and I started doing criminal activity, getting involved in criminal activity, illegal activity. Why? Because that authority figure wasn't around, right? But I started to exempt some of these behaviors, trying to mask my pain with aggression, with intimidation, right? So these things are not just statistics or things that we're reading on the screen on a website. These are facts. This is things that we can identify with based on our lived experience. And the question we have to ask ourselves as fathers is, do we want to repeat this cycle to keep repeating itself in the lives of our children? And if the answer to that question is no, then we need to be intentional in the way that we're raising our kids and ensuring that we are physically, emotionally, psychologically present for them in every way, shape or form, so that we're helping them develop into healthy and wholesome adults. If you want to read more of this article, it's on a website called allforkids.org, and the title of the blog is A Father's Impact on Child Development. And this particular blog was written on the 12th of March 2025, so just a couple of months ago. It's really important, you know, the impact of a father is really important in the lives of children, and it's important that we are around and that we are there for them. You know, nothing is more important than family. A lot of times we're chasing career, we're chasing success, we're chasing wealth, we're chasing money, and at the expense of our children, at the expense of our families. And ultimately, you don't want to gain the whole world and lose your family. You know, the Bible says, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? Part of losing your soul is neglecting your loved ones and neglecting those that should be number one priority in your life, which is your family and the children that you brought into this world. Don't let that be you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please smash the like button. What I'm trying to do through this channel is to build a community of fathers who are raising exceptional children, who are actively involved in the lives of their children, who are supporting the growth and development of their children by being actively involved in their raising and development. And if you want to be a part of that community, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel and follow subsequent videos. Also, if you're already here and you've watched this far, please check out some of my other videos and share this video with other fathers that you think will benefit from it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.